Why does it feel like I have not grown up? I've had the fortune of being friends with the same people that I've grown up with for over 13 years at this point. Because of this information, I've seen the people around me change basically daily. So, as I reflected again on the people in my life and how they have changed, I thought to myself, have I? Well, there are the obvious: my hair, my face, my body, my brain, etc. But I thought more and more about the real changes: my opinions, my experiences, my interests, hobbies, values, life, etc. I began to feel some sort of panic. I thought about my life in the past, I would say 8 to 9 years, and thought, how have I changed? I have thought this video could be perceived as some sort of self-report, but realistically, I just wanted this video to be a discussion about how I felt through my experiences, how the people around me have changed comparatively to me. During middle school, I was adamantly into anime. I don't say this to gain cool points towards people that watch anime now, because honestly, I believe if you watch anime now, or have gotten recently into anime, that you truly don't know what it's like to watch anime. Yes, you can call me a gatekeeper. Yes, you can say I'm dumb, or you can just say that I'm trying to stop people from enjoying what they like. But I'm sure that I'm not alone. I'm currently 19, and I'm turning 20 in a few months. And it was around 8 years ago where I remember you were absolutely uncool if you passionately liked anime. And we're not Asian, or it wasn't some mainstream anime like Pokemon or Attack on Titan or something. Back then, you'd be called a weeb or a weirdo and would be ignored for talking about anime. I remember an instance where I paid my friends to stop calling me a weeb because eventually it got to me. Today, I laugh about that to those same people. Before, in the past, I loved anime. I would stay up late into the night and would watch well over 100 episodes of Fairy Tail in just a few days. I swear, if you saw my Crunchyroll watch history back then, you would think that I hadn't slept in weeks. I would watch now little known or dead channels like Misty Cronexia, Lost Pause, Chibi Reviews, etc. I would even buy manga. Uh, I have the entire series of Arcana of the Dawn. Still, I believe it is one of my favorites. I also have the first um, volume of Ancient Magnus Bride. Way before I got it, way before the anime came out. You know, I was an early adopter. Regardless, the reason why I bring up anime in its context of change is due to the fact that I genuinely don't enjoy anime in the same way that I used to. Yes, you could say that I probably just burnt myself out or grew out of it. However, I always like looking back on this idea of my enjoyment of anime because it encapsulated my belief in change. Those same friends that would bully me to the point where I felt I had to pay them to stop are the same kids now that watch anime passionately, or have a respect for anime. Just like the world has changed, these friends have changed with it. Where I felt like the only people that went to Anime Con were the weirdos that everyone would make fun of, it is now something socially acceptable. You see objectively attractive people and models going to these events in cosplay, and to me, this all screams one word, and I believe it is the true issue at hand. Shallow. The world feels shallow. I have always been told that to be friends with me is an interesting experience. I tend to say what's on my mind, and to be friends with me, people have said they have had to develop levels of patience that they would typically not need. For me, my mind races faster than I can talk, and sometimes I would say something that in my head would make sense, but I would tend to have to frequently give context and in-depth explanation for how I thought a certain way. For me, I loved this. I loved in-depth conversations, debates. I love just saying a thought and thinking it out with people, seeing their reactions and hearing what they have to say. I've never been one to judge a person for their experiences, and for that, people have told me many things, and for that I feel proud. I took pride in being able to have conversations with people where I've allowed them to say what they actually thought. Nowadays, however, it seems I'm alone on this belief, or if I'm not, it's just not as normalized. Yes, I've always understood that there's a time and place for things. Sometimes I would pose a question that maybe in a public setting is not appropriate, or to some may be seen weird. I tend to, as some people would like to call it, overshare. But I never thought about it as oversharing. To me, you get to know a person by knowing the good and the bad that comes with them. However, people today, I feel, only speak on the surface level. My opinion on this has only deepened as I got into college. I'd like to give a shout out to my past roommates, who I'll be referring to as J and B, as they were a breath of fresh air and showed me that I was not alone. Now, I'll preface what I'm going to say next by saying although I don't use Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or go on public Discord channels, that I do believe that if someone came up to me today, they would say that I'm chronically online. So, with that out of the way, I believe that cancel culture and the idea of being shallow fold hand in hand. You may be saying now, if you were bullied so hard by people over something you liked, why are you seemingly mad that nowadays cancel culture was created to punish some people, those same people that would bully someone? To answer your question, because although I ended up disliking anime, or not enjoying it as much as I used to, that this new world where acceptance and being nice to everyone has created a shallow world. I briefly shout out my roommates, but I'll speak on them now. For as much as we talked in the little time that I knew them, I learned so much about those two guys. The reason I said they were a breath of fresh air is because they confirmed in my mind what I thought was true. People haven't gotten more accepting or nicer. They've only gotten complacent, fearful, and quiet. Judgment has always been and always will be with them, just not outspokenly. During a time where we have the ability to talk about anything to anyone over the internet, we have established this place of fear and dominance. This fear is controlling. And because the world has gotten more political, people have become divided. We've put each other in smaller boxes and allowed ourselves to no longer become individuals who can come together and become a group, but rather just parts of a group. You are no longer Sally Wallenstein. You're now Mary Sue, who is a part of X group and believes in X thing and agrees with X, Y, and Z. You find other people with those same interests and experiences and gravitate towards one another, and it becomes who you are. The world nowadays preaches independence and individuality, but marginalizes those who practice the true definition. You're either a leftist or alt-right if you either are red-pilled or blue-pilled, or you're pro-abortion or pro-life, a bigot or normal. There's no room for conversation, and you must choose the right side or the side that fits mostly you. And you're stuck there. Deviation from the group leads to ostracization, and you are then called every name that can be tacked onto your situation. Also, God forbid you have any middle of the road viewpoints, you're just as bad as the opposing side of whichever team you're on. Or against. I'm not mad that I ended up disliking anime or not enjoying it as much as I do today, or before in the past. But deep down, I will still always have a soft spot for anime. Being real, I literally cried to the last Black Clover movie. I still cry to intros and openings of my favorite anime. And whenever I wanted to cry, I would watch Your Lie in April, because I remember that anime, when I watched it for the first time, it genuinely made me bawl my eyes out, to the point where my aunt asked me if I was okay. Now, to some people, they can say that me crying during anime is just a result of me having trauma from being bullied from my friends for liking it. But at the end of the day, I'm still me. I can still call out my friends for being dickheads and switching up and now liking it. I can still realize that yes, at the time they had power over how I felt towards a certain medium, but obviously now they don't. I am my own person. I'm an individual. Being part of a group, I understand, is human nature. You want to fit in and find people that share the same beliefs and viewpoints as you. And you always want to be part of a group, as being a part of a whole is stronger than being alone. I'm not preaching for groups to not exist. I am preaching for individuality to make up a group. A group full of individuals, not part of a group. Not parts of a group. I don't agree with this current landscape where you can be bullied into suppression because in reality, yes, you may be preaching acceptance towards everyone, but in actuality, all that has happened is that the tables have turned. Cancel culture is not a place, in my eyes, of acceptance, but an ideology of revenge.